Hi folks, it's John from Kingstonsandblasting.com. I'd like to share with you, this is a Ford pickup truck of a customer's, and often we'll get this where we have a vehicle or a lot of parts of a vehicle. They want to do the work themselves, but they need to get it sandblasted. So what we've done, this is a southern truck, and before we epoxy everything, we're just going to share with you because it is incredible when you take an old classic Ford or any classic vehicle apart, how many pieces there are. So we just have this cab sitting on the frame. We're going to be doing the frame later. So this had several layers of paint and body filler, and you can see where it exposes some of the rust where there is body filler. So the type of media that we use, we're very, very careful. The camera can probably pick it up where there was a lot of surface rust and scabs and a little bit of scarring. You can see that we've, once it's all media blasted, but it exposes where there's been previous work done, where there's a little bit of rust and there was body filler kind of hiding some spots. So very, very thorough. This is really common on the bottom of the front, behind the front fender and the hinge post area. But there's a lot of really nice areas on this pickup. So you can see we were very thorough. We did the whole inside, all around the back panel, around the back window, the openings of the doors, the complete dash, complete firewall, both sides. So we're really, really careful that we use the right media. We don't overheat the metal. We don't leave a lot of debris. We don't just skim over it. We make sure that we get it all nice and clean. You can see in the back here we've got the whole back is done all around the windows. You can see along the top there's quite a bit of body filler, a couple little holes there that we kind of cleaned out. We didn't do the very top center of the roof because of fear of warpage. There's very little support in the center. So we left that part. You can see along the firewall where we removed all of the stuff on there. And I'll just come around this side. Same idea. You can see how nice and clean it is. We get all the nooks and crannies, the door openings, all around the seams where the latches were. So you can see now you're back into the factory correct spot welds from the factory. A little bit of a rust hole there, but you can see how nice and clean it is. And if you run your hand across, there's no warpage, there's no hot spots, and you can see it's almost like a sparkly texture. That just shows you how careful we were when we media blasted, that we used the right media and it didn't take too much of the metal, so it's in very, very nice shape. So we're getting ready to do the epoxy next to seal it. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically epoxy it just the way it is here, and then once that cures we're going to set it on its back and we'll do the complete floor, which we'll show you probably tomorrow. And then we have all of the shrapnel. So you can see over here on the stand we've got our truck bed on the far end. So he's left it as a unit. The tailgate is off, the support rails are off, and the fenders are off. So what we did is we basically did all the way around, so we've got all the sides are done. So this is the side or the end of the cab, and then you can see where it exposes some of the split that he'll repair on his own. You can see where someone's drilled some holes along the top, which I'm sure he's going to repair. But structurally very, very strong, and look at how nice and clean the sandblasting does. So we basically had it on all ends. That's all nice and clean. So now it's ready for epoxy. And as we come over here, we've got our factory tailgate, our Ford tailgate. And you can see where we've done obviously all of the sides. You can see there's some damage once again. But now that it's all nice and clean, you'll notice I'm wearing gloves. I don't have the oil off my hands or the sweat off my hands to contaminate the metal. So there'll be some work to do, but now that we have all of the old lacquer and all the different products off of all the metal, here's our back fenders. You can see where there's been some body damage done. Same thing on this side. So they had quite a bit of body filler. And the nice thing about taking it to Kingstonsandblasting.com, we restore cars for a living. Same thing on this side. You can see where there's some damage. So we got it all nice and clean. We know how much pressure to use and how strong and how close the nozzle should be so there isn't any warpage, because it takes a lot to understand the metals and the different shapes. And then with the doors, here's a perfect example. There's very little support in the center of these doors, and they're prone to warpage. So what we did is we did all around the frame, which is very difficult to do by hand, and then on the inside where it's structurally very strong with the ribs, we've gone all the way around the door, the bottoms of the doors, and the hinge edges. We just left that center panel of the doors because the same as the top of the cab, they can be quite a problem. So you can see we have both doors ready here on the stand. There's some body filler that we removed. A lot of people have difficulty. They say they can't remove, when they're sandblasting or media blasting, they can't remove body filler. But if you have the pressure right and more expensive media, and you're very careful and experienced, you can get the body filler out without hurting the metal, as we've done here. So we've got our doors, we have our back fenders, we have our tailgate, the bed, and then you can see we have all this other stuff. So we've got this upper piece for the above the radiator, which comes at the front above the grill. We have that ready. We have our running boards, which we've done a nice job on. Once again, all the way around. These are factory steel original running boards. Quite good shape. A little bit of surface rust bled through on that end. And then we have our other running board here, which is in really nice shape. So you can see a little bit of bronzing on the one end for a little bit of a repair that was done years ago. But other than that, very, very solid. And you can see, once again, hopefully you can pick it up on the camera with the sun hitting it, you can see how clean the metal is and the nice texture. We don't have a really aggressive media to hurt it at all. And over here we have our, this is the back of our tailgate rail. These are our support rails for the box. This is that lower portion on the front. Your marker lights go in here, and then your headlights, your grill are above, and then the bumper cutout. So you can see there's some dents here. There's some body filler in different areas which we remove so we can expose where he can hammer and dolly the work. And as we come over this way, continue on with the shrapnel, you can see where we have our original front grill headlight surrounds. So we have that all nice and clean, and it's ready for the epoxy. And then we have our front fenders. We've done both the inside and outside of both front fenders. We have our inner fenders, which we've done both sides of too, and you can see how nice this is when it's all nice and clean. There's quite a bit of undercoating and thick product, layers of different product. Got rid of it all, didn't hurt the steel, didn't warp the steel. And then we have our radiator support for the front. These are the two filler panels that go behind the headlights at the front. And then this is the center piece of our floor. The transmission tunnel, and our gas pedal is still there, but so we've got that pan that goes in the middle of the floor. So this essentially is all the bits for this truck, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to tidy everything up, clean it, prep it, and get it ready for epoxy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply this two-part special epoxy, which will bond to the steel. And then what we'll do once we have this done, tomorrow we'll flip everything the other way. We'll show you the other side of all the items. We'll show you what the epoxy looks like, and then we're going to get ready to basically have it go back to the client. So this is a classic Ford truck, typical sandblast job that we do here. If you have any questions, you can email me. It's john@lastchanceautostore.com, and I thank you for watching.